Real quick update on the little SUV. Getting the back turbo out was as awful as I thought it would be. The Ford book says to drop the subframe and do some other stuff to get the turbo out. I found a couple people on forums and otherwise saying just pull the passenger axle, and you don't even need to take the strut loose. There's enough room to get it out. Just popping the bottom ball joint off, and the axle will come out. Two little screws to take out, like you'll find if you Google. And there's plenty of room to drop the turbo straight down where the axle was. So if anybody stumbles across this, that is quite handy. And confirmation of all the people on the forums. So this is the quote-unquote good turbo, and even it has, that is a insane amount of shaft movement. And if you look real close, you can see the fins were hitting the housing already. Pretty stinking crazy. Super worn turbos. Again, we know there's a cylinder that's what I would say is really, really low compression, but supposedly the Ford docs say anything within 75% is okay. So we're gonna gamble and see if we take care of all these other issues, if it'll run a little bit longer. Waiting for turbos at this point. The only other thing left to do is replace that guy, the cam timing solenoid, which is interesting because it talks about the intake one, but maybe it's just programming. For my eyeball, that looks more leaning towards the exhaust than the intake, but maybe that's all it knows how to call it. I don't know. But I'm gonna pop the intake off because one little tab from the output of the fuel pump is keeping me from getting to that, and I don't want to force that out of the way because I don't know what the connectors under there look like, and it seems silly to cause more damage. So that will be next. I'm not sure if that's a right now thing or not. Supposedly the turbos are only 3 or 4 days away, so that will be exciting to try to get this back together and see what they act like, or see what the little car acts like with turbos and a cam timing sensor. The cam timing sensor is what was derating the engine, and the smoke, I can pretty much guarantee by what you've seen over here, was from the turbos. So I'm sure you've already seen, but that is pretty crazy. I wonder if, yeah, can't quite shove it out, but no nut on there, and they spin separately from each other. the compressor side and the turbine side. So the cheap turbos came in, and I don't think I have any complaints yet. We'll see how long they last, but like a whole little gasket set, which is kind of cool. The input shaft has a little bit of play. I'm gonna hope that it's okay and will last, but I think I will try to stab those guys in. I'm sure it will take far longer than I expect, because it is a horrible little tight place to work, which I think I've already showed many times. So anywho, I'll get to putting those in, and then, oh, also from that same company, got the solenoids, variable valve timing solenoids. So, putting all my gambles in one company there for cheap parts. So we'll get at least this side replaced. It seems silly not to do that side as well, because I'm 90% sure I'm gonna have to pull the intake off to get the little fuel pump line off. But I tried to stop taking that apart so I have less things apart to remember how to put together. So that's where we're at. I'll show you if anything entertaining happens. So this kind of stinks. I don't know if it's because I blew air in there and ripped something apart, or if some little rubber piece. So there's a nice blue seal that I hope the pipe seals against, but there's another rubber piece past that I have no idea what the purpose of is. Anyway, I took this out of the block because good old internet claimed there might be a screen that would filter and potentially limit oil flow to the turbo, so I was going to check it, but I'll probably try to dig out that whatever the mystery rubber piece is, because it's not going to currently seal like that, and I don't want it getting sucked up into the turbo or rest of the engine. So it'll be fun, to see if we have an oil leak on that back turbo. That will make me very sad. So I did find the screen for the intake. Turns out it's in this end, and I'm conflicted on whether to buy this whole new line or not. I'll probably call Ford and see how much, but that's the side that clips into those fittings that I was looking at, that I thought I'd seen people say it was in the block, but I think I'm gonna brake clean and air hose and try not to tear it up, and see if I can just back flush through there. The obvious downside is if it is plugged or doesn't flow well, new turbos won't get enough oil, but should be able to kind of tell if it's plugged or there's crud in it, and that's my hope anyway. So we'll see if that looks acceptable, or if I call Ford and see how bad those lines are. Okay, and cleaning and goofing around here. Not intentionally try to take this out, but it looks like the little screen guy comes out of there, and that's the first time it's been out, so there's a little bit of grunge, but not horrible. So for sure I'm gonna brake clean and flush, rinse with brake clean and blow through that, and stick it back together. It'll be curious if that other one will kind of fall apart more or less, similar to this one, and be able to clean it. So strangely enough, the Ford dealer actually was able to get one from Nampa. You'll notice you can't see through it. I doubt it'll focus enough for you to see in there, but it's got little flaps. Those things that were hanging down were little flaps that I'm guessing when you take the line out, keeps dirt out of the fitting. Anyway, kind of cool. Glad I got one. I mean, not just to have the little flaps back, but I'm sure I tore it up when I blew air through it backwards. But now we have a new one, and it wasn't horribly expensive, so hopefully don't have to worry about leaks from blowing through that anyway, on that rear oil fitting. I just realized there's maybe somebody who doesn't know what a banjo bolt is. This is banjo bolt. Fluid either comes in the center of the bolt and out the little holes, or vice versa. Obviously, just flows through the bolt. It seals against these flat surfaces with these cool little copper crush washers. Typically you're supposed to replace those, but you know, sometimes you don't do what you're supposed to do. But these are even cooler, that Ford got smart and you lose them and they fall off and they're annoying. Well, they put that little crossbar on there to where you can slip them on there and stick the bolt through and not lose anything. So that's kind of slick. But now you can see cross hole ends up in about the middle of that block. So oil comes from that side through the screen. Crud on the outside of the screen get caught and feeds through to the turbo through the little center of the bolt. Anyway, that's banjo bolt. So I had to show real quick. This one's kind of crazy. That's the back turbo, which was actually okay-ish, but that's a bunch of grunge on there. Kind of weird that the front one was clean and the front turbo was toast. Back one totally grungy. No idea what or how. Scraped off some grunge, pulling it out of there, little screen guy. So glad I found that, and I'm gonna clean that guy up too.
Okay, this is a correction. Tell me what happened again.
Oh, I took little videos of the screens that are in the oil supply tubes.
Okay.
This turbo pair.
Uh-huh.
I just remembered because this one actually has a nut on it.
Oh.
That was the OK turbo, and it was clean.
Okay.
And I thought I had them reversed in my head for whatever reason.
Okay.
This is the broke turbo.
Yeah.
The line was dirty on.
Okay.
So that makes sense.
Broken turbo, dirty line.
Well, bad supply, oil supply potentially.
Okay.
Took the turbo out.
Okay. Good to know.
But it's clean now.
Yay! And now it's all going back together.
Yep, maybe.
Maybe.
Well, I got the valve cover off, you'll notice, without taking the intake off. We'll see if I did a dumb or not and broke anything anywhere else, but I was able to get pliers under that little P-tang that was going over a valve cover bolt and bend it out of the way. So, sorry, just looking at, looks like future potential leak points that I'll need to put some RTV on that the factory or whoever did it last put on there. I mean, poking at it with a finger, all the cam chain feels fine. But that little guy is what is supposed to be wrong, so I'll rip that out, replace it, clean up my gasket surface, put a little RTV on that, it looks like I needed to do based on what they did, and sneak that back on there. Yeah, I think that's it. And then I got the turbos all in, the axle back in, the connector to the rest of the exhaust is not on, the front catalytic converter's not on. I guess I can show you that real quick too. I know that it got oil blown through it, so I thought soap and water is safe. It may not do a stinking thing to help, but makes me feel better that I tried, I guess. But I'll probably blow some compressed, that's fun, compressed air through there to try to rinse and clean that a couple times, and hope that that cat will survive, or at least run long enough to show me if the little car's engine is going to hang in there for a little bit longer before it's time to swap it. Because, like I said, I know for a fact the oil and potentially the blow-by is, or was, excuse me, this guy, and try to get the reason that it's detuned, which is that little guy with all the codes, out of the computer, or make it happy, and see how it acts. So potentially kind of close to firing it back up and see what kind of mess I made while tearing it all apart. So that's where we're at. This is likely as much for me as anybody else, or more for me than anybody else. The difference between the old and the new guy, the bottom is different. Completely unknown to me, if that matters. The screens are kind of interesting. That is actually perforated. I don't know if you can actually see when I get real closer. It gets blurry, but really fine screen on that guy. Oh, that's interesting. Need to look and see if there's an O-ring in the in the engine over there, it came out really easy, as though there was not. That would be crazy if it somehow got forgotten when they stuck it in there. Anyway, different but similar. So I'm gonna run the new one and hope that, yeah, there's no way there was a O-ring in there and it fell out. I mean, technically there is, but I don't know how it would have fallen out and gone straight down there. I will probably get a better flashlight and look as close as I can to be sure, but I'll bring you back if I find anything entertaining. But I don't think there is any way there was. Like I said, how it pulled out, there was no resistance like an O-ring. So throw the new one in of that after making sure there's no O-ring in the engine, and stick stuff back together and see if it'll run. This is the day of many little bitty observations, evidently. Remember how I was noting, confused, all those words, that there was only one solenoid? Well, there's only one phaser. Kind of interesting because I don't know enough to know if it was a model year split or something, but everything the Google machine would tell me is there was a phaser on intake and exhaust. At least this makes me feel better that the errors for the intake phaser make sense, because that's the only phaser that's here. Intake side, exhaust cam, and again, as much for me as anything, that's what my phaser looks like. I don't know if that's a new one or an old one. I'll clean the crud off of it there. And back to what we were doing. Everything is all back together to the best of my knowledge. Everything's tight. All the wires that I know of, or remember, I guess both those words, are hooked up. Obviously battery cable's still loose. I'm gonna pull the power and the fuel pump power and the spark plug fuse and crank it a little bit to fill the oil filter and turbos up. Because I've heard, well, and I guess as evidenced by those, turbos are touchy. While making sure I didn't forget any extra parts up here, I thought that was kind of cool and funny. Granted, it could be from anybody or anything, but I don't know. It seems like it should just ride around there with us for a while. I'll probably take it out and see what it is. Looks like a 9, but that is all I know. So I think we're just missing water at this point. I kind of forgot that part where we drained it. I'm conflicted on whether to just put water in till we see if it's gonna work or not, or put antifreeze as well. But I don't know. I'll let you know. Still undecided.
We've put oil in it. Sam put water in it. And I think he's getting ready to do the first official start.
light's still on.
Okay.
I wanna take my headlight down there, make sure there's no obvious leaks.
Okay.
So read codes. See if I set any new ones
Okay.
with my silliness.
Shenanigans.
Yeah. Yeah, that's residual oil on the manifold.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's highly likely that's residual oil on the manifold.
With as much was on there, and
Yeah.
did you tell them you've gone through how many rolls of paper towels?
No. But yeah, every bit of one, and just so black.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, this is dirty.
Yeah, Sam is really good at keeping a blue towel until it is just no longer usable. So when he says he went through,
Sam is cheap.
no,
Is what Brandy's trying
that's
to
not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying he's very efficient with blue towels. He does not waste them. When they are used up, they are used up.
I don't see anything interesting on front turbski.
Nothing looks like it's dripped on the ground.
Oh, remind me if we do run around in it to park it. Maybe even I'll take a piece of cardboard and put under it.
Oh, okay.
Put the exhaust on.
Okay.
'Cause I can't think of a real good reason not to.
Okay.
If you want to grab my laptop and the HP tuners, then hit read codes.
Okay, so you reinstalled the exhaust,
Yes.
and now it says,
Couple permanent ones. The crankshaft position. Oh, the correlation. That's hopefully that solenoid.
mm-hmm.
Intake cam position timing over advanced. Hopefully that solenoid.
Okay.
Turbocharger, supercharger, bypass valve, control circuit. So one of those blow-offs. I need to make sure I hooked up.
Mm.
Fuel rail pressure too low. Engine cranking. That's hopefully when I was cranking to purge to get oil to everything. O2 heater circuit, bank 2, sensor 1. I think bank 2 is the front. And I think that was there before. But, and that's what's setting the light, SES.
Mm.
And another camshaft position, timing over advanced. So what was I going to check? The blow-off valves, one of them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to clear all those. Wish I knew how to get rid of those permanent ones. Okay, check the blow-off valves.
So upon further inspection, one of the O2 sensors was not plugged in. So now we are hoping that it will be better.
Checking? It is early. That's crazy.
That's cool.
So, the one gauge it gives you in the further information,
Mm-hmm.
coolant temp,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't give you a number,
No.
just a little stupid gauge. It's so...
And it also doesn't tell, I couldn't find in the owner's manual how to reset the engine oil service thing. It must just go out on its own.
I don't know. Let's see if it's in here. Oh,
Oh.
distance to empty.
Oil life reset, there you go.
courtesy wipe? What does that even mean?
I don't even know.
So, I think, let it warm up a bit.
Okay.
Watch its little bottle move the stuff up from behind
Yeah.
it.
Okay. I'm gonna take it for a little spin and see how it does, but we've fixed at least a couple of things, so that's a bonus win.